Ever wonder what really makes a neighborhood tick? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a completely data-driven tour of the people, the lifestyles, and the economies shaping the Kirkland, Washington 98034 zip code. Because let's be real, if you want to truly understand a community, you can't just look at the surface. You've got to dig right into the data that defines who is actually living there, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're using comprehensive trade area data to unpack the unique, living personality of this fascinating Pacific Northwest enclave.
Okay, first things first, let's get grounded geographically. Kirkland 98034 stretches all the way from the beautiful waterfront of Juanita Beach Park right up to the northern borders touching Kenmore and Bothell. We're talking about neighborhoods like Inglewood Finhill, Kingsgate, and Totem Lake. It's an incredibly prime slice of real estate sitting right there on the eastern shores of Lake Washington, and it's positioned perfectly near some major tech and business hubs.
All right, we are kicking things off with some serious sticker shock. $139,103. That staggering figure is the median household income here. I mean, that completely dwarfs national averages. Right out of the gate, the data is telling us loud and clear that this specific zip code is a highly concentrated pocket of financial power. Folks living here are bringing home substantial paychecks, and that wealth ripples out to affect literally everything, from the local retail scene to the housing market.
But here's the twist. You usually associate that kind of massive wealth with an older, more established demographic, right? Well, not here. The median age is a surprisingly youthful 39.4 years old. So this isn't just some quiet, sleepy retirement community for the ultra-wealthy. No way. It's a highly dynamic, relatively young area just packed with professionals in the absolute prime of their careers. It's this perfect intersection of youth and high income.
And man, it is densely populated too. The total resident population sits at over 55,700. But you know what's really fascinating? That number actually swells to over 56,100 during daytime business hours. You might think it's a bedroom community where people just sleep before commuting somewhere else. Actually, scratch that. It's the exact opposite. It's a buzzing hub of constant activity that actively draws workers and consumers in during the day.
So we have these incredible macro numbers, right? The massive income, the youthful median age, that swelling daytime population, but they leave us with a really huge question. Who actually lives here to create this entirely unique environment? How do we put a human face to these giant data points so we can understand the real culture of Kirkland?
To answer that, we're not going to just stare at dry census data. We're using something called tapestry market segmentation. This is an absolutely incredibly powerful tool from Esri. It basically classifies U.S. residential neighborhoods into 67 distinct, unique market segments based on their socioeconomics and demographics. Essentially, it takes all those raw, boring numbers and translates them into the living, breathing personalities of the neighborhood.
And when we look at that breakdown, one specific group completely dominates the area. The urban chic segment makes up a whopping 34.8% of the entire community. They're followed by the top-tier segment at almost 16%, and then we see a mix of uptown lights, legacy hills, and laptops and lattes. But it's super clear. If we want to really understand 98034, we absolutely have to understand the urban chic.
Part 1. The protagonist. Meet the urban chic.
Because they are the absolute majority, the urban chic set the primary cultural and economic tone for the whole zip code. Honestly, if you're opening a business, analyzing the real estate market, or even thinking of moving here, you need to know exactly how this group lives. These are typically married couples and singles raising young children. They're highly educated professionals working in tech, healthcare, and education. They are super worldly too, using multiple credit cards to rack up airline miles for frequent international travel. Health-wise, very conscious. They prefer fresh, organic foods and they exercise constantly. And critically, they are heavily focused on the future, pouring money into 401ks and incredibly valuable homes.
And their financial stability is just rock solid. The urban chic boasts a median household income of roughly $144,700 and a median net worth approaching $573,000. With a home ownership rate of over 62%, a huge chunk of that wealth is anchored right in their homes. They are comfortable, they're established, and they are highly integrated into this modern, high-end suburban economy.
Let's move on to Part 2. The contrast, old wealth versus young techies.
So while the urban chic completely dominate the middle, the extremes of the neighborhood provide this incredible dynamic tension. We are juxtaposing two radically different neighbors sharing the exact same zip code.
On one side, you have the top-tier established elites, nestled away in their single-family suburban homes, and right next to them, you have the laptops and lattes crowd. These are the young, remote-working renters driving the vibe in the urban core. Let's look at the top tier first.
These top-tier residents, they represent the absolute peak of local wealth here. We're talking a median age of around 45 and a jaw-dropping median net worth of over $1.7 million. They are highly established. An astounding 90% of them own their homes, which, by the way, average over $900,000 in value. They're the folks hiring personal chefs, financial planners, and gardeners. They dine out at the finest restaurants, travel extensively, and they are highly active in political fundraising and philanthropy. Simply put, they are the established power players.
On the flip side, the laptops and lattes segment represents the brilliant youth of Kirkland. Their median age is just 36. They are overwhelmingly highly educated, with 79% holding a bachelor's degree or higher. But rather than owning sprawling estates, they rent out expensive mid to high-rise apartments right in the urban core. And they live entirely integrated digital lives. They have the highest rates of remote working, they shop almost entirely online, and they consume their media through podcasts and news websites. They are the up-and-coming tech and finance wizards of the area.
Now for Part 3, the supporting cast, Uptown Lights and Legacy Hills.
You see, Kirkland isn't just million-dollar wealth and luxury tech apartments. Two other essential segments round out this supporting cast. First up are eco-conscious renters, the Uptown Lights. They're pulling in middle-tier incomes around $101,000, they're super tech-savvy, and they are totally dedicated to organic products and frequent food delivery. Then, conversely, we have the Legacy Hills segment. These folks are slightly older, with more modest incomes around $55,000, and they form the absolute backbone of local brick-and-mortar community retail. They shop locally for toys and games, they read physical magazines, and yes, many of them even still use a landline phone.
And finally, Part 4, the future of Kirkland.
So we've got this incredible mix of wealthy urban chic, elite top tier, and young laptops and lattes techies. And together, they are driving explosive expansion. Since 2020, Kirkland 98034's population has grown by 8.28%. Think about that for a second, because when you compare it to the broader King County, which is essentially flatlined with a microscopic 0.04% growth rate, you realize just how magnetic this specific zip code really is. It easily outpaces the state average of 4.82%. People are just flocking here.
And it's not just the population that's booming. The wealth is concentrating even further. The current average household income is sitting around a very robust $191,000. But get a load of the projection for 2029. It is slated to skyrocket past $216,000. That signals an impending, even denser concentration of wealth and purchasing power over the next 5 years. Long story short, this neighborhood is getting richer, and it's getting richer fast.
So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider. As this zip code rapidly scales in both population density and massive economic power, how will this diverse tapestry of residents reshape the very fabric of the community going forward? Will the old wealth of the top tier clash with the digital, remote working culture of the laptops and lattes, or will the dominant urban chic continue to just seamlessly blend the two together? Keep a close eye on Kirkland 98034, because the data shows it's a neighborhood riding a very lucrative, truly fascinating future. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the data around you.